All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the day, the Thursday that the Lord has made. We are going to rejoice and be glad in it. Happy Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Thursday, March 31st, 2022. Thursday, March 21st. What is it? 31st, not 21st. The 31st, 2022. Welcome to the Ramon Preston Show on this beautiful Thursday. I am your host, Ramon Preston. For those of you that are coming on, please do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hit the share button. Tag Lolly Dolly everybody and let them know. Prophet Ramon, the squad, we alive right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. And guess what? Today, I'm going to be talking to you about why you need a holding company. Why you need, a holding company. But before we do, I need you to do me a favor. Hit the like button, hit the share button, tag somebody, and let them know we are live on the Ramon Preston Show. Please do that, okay? And also, I want you to put in the comments what city you are watching me from today. Wherever you're watching me from today, please put in the comments what city you're watching me from today. I am just so excited because today marks 3 years since we launched our online training university. And today marks 1 year since we introduced our coaching program. And I'm telling you, the last 3 years and definitely the last year, it's just been amazing. It's just been an amazing journey. I've had an opportunity to meet so many extraordinary people. If you are one of the individuals within the last 3 years who have either enrolled in a course on Ramon Preston University, or maybe within the last year, if you have enrolled in a course or joined our coaching program, our mentorship program, or have worked with us as your business and financial consultants, please let me know in the comments that you're one of the ones. And maybe you can share a little bit about how our courses, how our programs have impacted your personal, your professional, and your financial life. Sometimes people in the community just need to know that there are people out here like myself who are actually doing entrepreneurs and business owners a good service. I believe I am. You know, this show that we host every Monday through Friday here on live at 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time. This show was designed to really provide value to our community, to give you an opportunity to hear things about business and entrepreneurship and financial literacy from a business consultant's perspective. I think what I provide as a business consultant is necessary to entrepreneurs and business owners, especially if you're having trouble learning how to start your business, if you're having trouble structuring it, if you don't really know about systems and processes, if you don't know how to integrate these things into your ecosystem, then you need a business consultant, and that's what we specialize in. So today, I want to talk to you about why you need a holding company. Why you need a holding company. Literally, I get so many questions on YouTube. I get so many questions via email. And I get a lot of questions when we host our weekly coaching calls and our quarterly workshops and masterminds. And a lot of the questions that I get are centered around starting and structuring a holding company. I don't know if you've ever been introduced to the information that I share, but I teach a lot about holding companies. As a matter of fact, I have an entire course and startup kit just for people who want to start and structure a holding company. So, of course, I'll give you an opportunity at the end of the show, maybe in the middle of the show, I don't know, maybe right now, give you an opportunity to take advantage of the offers that we have, whether it's our holding company course and startup kit, or maybe you want access to hundreds of other training programs that complement you starting and structuring a holding company. But whatever the case is, just as a FYI, I want you to take this number down, because this is the number that you can text or call, and we can talk to you about starting and structuring your holding company, about you implementing and integrating the right systems and processes in your business. My goal is to help as many entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, network marketers, independent contractors, and small business owners as possible. Maybe you haven't started your business, but you're thinking about starting it. Or if you've already started your business, you may have a LLC or two, but you just don't know if it's structured right. Well, guess what? We have programs, we have training courses, we have services to help you figure all that out, okay? So here's the number. I want you to take this number down, 404-478-7213. 404-478-7213. That is the number that you can reach out to me today. We'll be more than happy to hear from you, to see what it is that you're looking at doing, whether it's about starting a business, or if you have one, you just need some help on structuring it and integrating the right systems and processes. So today's topic or title is centered around why you need a holding company. Now, just in case you don't know what a holding company is, a holding company is a business that you're using to actually hold. That's why it's called a holding company, because you're using it to hold ownership interests in other businesses, or you're using it to hold other assets like intellectual property, copyrights, trademarks. It could be stocks or investment interests in other investments. These are all the things that your holding company will actually hold. And so what makes your holding company a holding company is the fact that you have taken what is a typical LLC or a typical S Corp or C Corp, and you're utilizing it to hold ownership interests and other assets that can continue to increase in value. So what I like to explain to a lot of my clients that I talk to about holding companies is, number one, even if you're not in the business of just owning assets and owning ownership interests in other businesses, let's say if you just have an idea for a business, but it's an operating business, it's a business that you want to sell products and services in, well, guess what? You still should have a holding company. This is why you need a holding company. So there are so many different specific reasons that I can mention as to why you need a holding company. But first of all, I want to make sure you know what a holding company is, okay? So when you have a holding company, it is typically a LLC that you file and form, all right? Now, most state portals, meaning that like we're in Georgia here. So let's say if you went to the Secretary of State of Georgia and you decided to start a LLC, well, when you go through the articles of organization, which is what you're going to go through to file and form this legal entity in your state, a lot of state portals that give you the opportunity to fill this out, a lot of them will have a specific category or a code. It's like a national code that they use to help identify what industry this LLC is going to be in. So if you've ever gone through this filing process, you may have seen agriculture, landscaping, construction, restaurants, bars, real estate, whatever it is. Well, a lot of state portals actually have a category or a code for holding companies. Now, if you are in a state that doesn't have it, it doesn't mean that you can't start a holding company. It just means that you're either going to specify it in an optional provision that may be available for you when you're filing the paperwork, or you're just going to put it in your operating agreement, which means that once you file and form your LLC, you're going to draft the operating agreement, and in your operating agreement, you're going to specify, you're going to say this LLC was established for the purpose of holding other companies, interests, assets, etc., okay? So this is what a holding company is. Now, why do you need one? Well, there are a lot of reasons why you need one. One of the most important reasons why I think you need one is for protection. I would say you need this for protection. Why do you need a holding company for protection? Because again, let's say if you have products and services that you want to sell, all right? So you have a product, you have a service, and you want to take those products and services and you want to sell them so you can make money, right? Well, a lot of times people just form a business around these products and services, and they create a LLC, and they name the LLC, and what do? They go into the market and they start selling products and services. It's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is everything that you own is in this one company. This is considered an operating LLC. Why? Because this business is operating as a service or product provider in the market, which means you don't really have a whole lot of protection. So if there are certain ideas that you have come up with that are really considered to be like intellectual properties, those ideas are owned by your business. If there are certain products and services that you're selling, but you have certain equipment that you're using to make the products or to provide the services, well, the equipment is owned by this company. If there are certain copyrights or trademarks or logos or things that distinguish you from other businesses, and they're all owned by this business, then that means what? Your intellectual properties, your copyrights, your trademarks, your equipment, all these other assets that make up this operating business, they're all in one entity, and they don't have what? They don't have protection. However, if you had a holding company, this is the power of it. If you had a holding company, let's say you had a holding company here. If you had a holding company LLC and your company was created to hold or to own the ownership interests of businesses and other assets, then guess what you can do? You can make the owner of this company your holding company. So where you are here, you're not owning this company yourself. You own this company, but this company is owned by this. So that's a layer of protection there, because this company that's out there operating, selling products and services, it's not directly owned by you. It's actually owned by a company that is being built to own assets. So that's one big advantage. And this is why you need a holding company. But let's go back to some of the things that we said this operating entity has. Well, think about the intellectual properties. Think about the ideas and the things that you came up with to create these products. So that would be intellectual property. That would be considered IP. Well, guess what? You can take the IP that you have that's yours, and you can allow this company to own it. So your holding company owns your IP, not necessarily your operating company. So it will be easier for your company that owns the IP to draft up some type of agreement or some type of licensing or just some type of form to give your operating entity the rights to use it, but your operating entity does not own it. This is the protection that you get from your LLC. Let's think about your trademarks. Let's say if this operating entity had a trademark because it was a distinguishable trademark. Well, guess what? Your trademark could be owned by this company. It can just be what? Used by that company. Let's say if this company had certain equipment that it was using to produce the products and services. Well, the equipment doesn't necessarily have to be owned by that company. It doesn't even need to be owned by the holding company. You can have an equipment leasing company over here that just leases the company to it. So when you start understanding the not just the power of a holding company, but understanding the concept of a holding company, why they exist and why you need one, and how they work to help you not only minimize your liability but maximize your protection, you see the power of why you need a holding company. Okay, so number one, protection, right? That's one reason why you need a holding company. Number two, I would say, is preservation. Preservation. So what do I mean by preservation? Well, a holding company facilitates preservation because your holding company actually becomes your legacy company. Your holding company becomes your legacy company. So for example, if you have an operating business that's out there in the marketplace making money, selling products and services, that operating business may not be your legacy company because it may be something that you might sell at some point, you may exit and never want to do, and you don't want your whole legacy to be tied to something that you feel like is no longer a part of you. Like for example, Sam Walton, everybody's familiar with Sam Walton. Sam Walton, he started Walmart's, right? And he created Sam's Clubs from Walmart's and so many other businesses that were birthed from Sam's Clubs and from Walmart's. But he's known for being Mr. Sam Walton, the owner of Walmart and everything that came from Walmart. Well, guess what? They have a legacy company called Walton Enterprises. It's a holding company. And all of his kids, they actually run Walton Enterprises, which happens to own ownership interests in the Walmarts and the Sam's Clubs and the other companies in the world. But they're not actively running the day-to-day operations of Walmart and Sam's Club. They are actually running the day-to-day operations, or at least overseeing the day-to-day operations of Walton Enterprises. So there's a level of preservation because they're preserving the legacy of Mr. Sam Walton. So that's powerful. This is like extremely powerful. Number three, the third reason why you need a holding company is production. You are actually able to produce. You're actually able to produce more. In my personal estimation, in my professional estimation, you're able to produce more and generate more results and a greater impact when you have a holding company set up and structured the right way with divisions and subsidiaries. I personally think you're able to produce more simply because of how you have it structured and how you have it layered. This is like very, very powerful. So let me explain to you what I mean by the production. So you have LLC number one. This is your holding company, right? So if LLC number one is your holding company, now you have, let's say, LLC number two. This could be your operating entity. LLC number three. This could be your real estate investment company. You have LLC number four. Let's say if this was your equipment or IP company, whatever type of entity you have it in that you're using to lease your equipment or to put all of your equipment in. I'm just showing you how the production of your holding company and you building it out can give you more of a massive impact, because now you're able to have these companies as subsidiaries. You may also have certain operations in the middle right here as divisions. This is where your divisions will be. But now you're able to produce more and you're able to make a greater impact. And the impact that I'm talking about is not just in the community or not just with customers and clients. I'm talking about your revenue impact. Because at the end of the day, if you're creating all of these different entities because you're using the holding company concept to create a level of level of protection, a level of preservation, and a level of production, you're doing it because you want to produce more revenue. And in order for you to produce more revenue, you've got to have a creative concept or structure set up so that when these different entities start generating revenue, now these revenue generating entities are going to become these pass-through entities so that more money can show up here at the holding company level. And the money is not necessarily going to you. The money may stay within this ecosystem to create other revenue generating opportunities, whether it's real estate investment opportunities, whether it's purchasing equipment or IP or ownership interests in other businesses, whether it's acquisitions. You're able to create more of a volume and produce a greater revenue impact and impact in your expansion projects because you have this type of infrastructure set up. So that's the third reason why you need a holding company. Number 4, here's my fourth and final reason why you need a holding company. It is because of the purchasing power. It gives you more purchasing power. As I just mentioned, if you have one company sitting here at the top and then you got several companies that are owned by this company, let's say for example, if these are all companies that are owned by one company, a lot of entrepreneurs get this wrong. I've met entrepreneurs. I've talked to entrepreneurs. I've consulted entrepreneurs who have had multiple businesses and they themselves owned each one. They owned each one of these businesses. This is the wrong way to do it. This is not the right way to do it. I'm giving you my stick man so you can see. Can you imagine not understanding how to start and structure a holding company, but you got all these business ideas, and instead of you learning how to do it the right way, you start business number 1 and you own it. You start business number 2, own it. Business number 3 and you own it. Business number 4 and you own it. Business number 5, you own it. Business number 6. I know people who own 7 or 8 LLCs and they personally own all 7 or 8 of them. That's not the proper way to do it. Nobody who's wealthy does that. And the people who do it like that at first and become wealthy, they find consultants and companies to help them restructure and reorganize it, and they move all this out of the way and they do it the right way for them the first time. You have an advantage because you listen to somebody like me and I give you the resources. I give you the tools. I give you the information. I give you all of the techniques that you need so that you could do it right the first time. And this is the way it should be done the first time. You are at the top of the mountain. You have your first entity under you. This is LLC number 1. This is your holding company. And then when you get all these ideas coming to you, all these great things that you want to create, products and services and opportunities, what you do is you drop them into your holding company, and they're going to either become divisions while they're in research and development, or they're going to become subsidiaries. This is the proper way to do it. So that means if you have an idea for a product and service that you want to create, and you drop it in your holding company, and it becomes a division for you to start marketing it, for you to start getting attention, and you see that there's some life there, all you have to do is make it a subsidiary. So now it's a LLC. But guess what? It's owned by your main LLC. Then you have a real estate opportunity, and you say, I want to get into real estate. I want to get into Airbnb, and I want to start doing Airbnbs. Well, guess what? This LLC can be owned by that. Well, let's say you want to get into stocks and bonds, and you want to start doing all kind of diversification. Well, this could be a separate entity if you wanted to, or you can just let your holding company own those stocks and ownership interests that you're investing in. But this is the proper way. Of course, mine looks messy. I have better graphs and better ways of explaining it to you and showing it to you, but those would be the 4 reasons why you need a holding company. So I would love to get some feedback from you. If you have a holding company, if you have a LLC, if you want to start a company but you just don't know the proper way to do it, I would love to get some feedback from you, because number one, you want to have your company started and structured the right way for protection. Number 2, you want to have your company started and structured the right way for preservation. This is your legacy. Number 3, you want your company started and structured the right way for production. You want to make sure that you're able to produce a greater revenue impact so you can continue to grow and expand and get opportunities as you continue to move forward. And number 4, you want to properly start and structure your company for the purchasing power. Because when you get to a point to where you need a bank to fund you, or you need an investor or a private lender to support you or to finance something you're doing, when you have a infrastructure set up the right way, where it's this entity and then you have other smaller entities, and they may be bigger entities, but they're all owned by one entity, and you stand at the top of those entities, this one entity has more purchasing power because it owns assets. It owns businesses, and your purchasing power goes up because you have credibility. You are able to make more things happen. So if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a network marketer, if you're an independent contractor, if you're a W-2 employee, maybe you're already a business owner, but you don't have your business properly started correctly. You didn't file and form the paperwork correctly. You don't have your holding company established. You don't have an operating agreement drafted correctly, or maybe you have a LLC, but you just don't know if everything is correct, or maybe you have 2 or 3 LLCs and you're trying to figure out how do you restructure it so that it can be what I just explained to you. Well, we have a couple options for you. I have a holding company course and startup kit that includes all the training that you need to learn whatever you need to learn on what a holding company is, how a holding company works. We have video tutorials in this startup kit to show you how to file and form your paperwork for your holding company, for your operating entity, how to establish your divisions, how to build your organization out. We have the documents that you need for your operating agreement to draft it, everything that you need from A to Z to properly start and structure a holding company. We also have a Millionaire Mentorship program. It's a 1-year program. This is really a powerful program if you not only need assistance, but you would like for me and my team to coach you and to consult you along the way. We give you 1 year from start to finish to show you how to do whatever you need to do to start your holding company, start your operating entities, how to integrate the right systems and processes. We give you one-on-one coaching sessions. We give you weekly coaching calls. We give you access to our quarterly masterminds and our workshops. And we give you 1 year access to our online training program where you have information that you're not even going to be able to cover all of the training in a year. It's that much information, hundreds and hundreds of training videos on holding companies, entrepreneurship, corporate systems, sales, marketing, financial literacy, creative cash flow strategies, real estate investing, goal setting, scheduling. We give you a lot of information. So I would love to connect with you. I would love to speak with you to help direct you to the programs that we have that best fit what you want to accomplish, especially if it's about starting and structuring and scaling your holding company and your business. All you have to do is text me the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. That's all you have to do is text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. I would be more than happy to speak with you, to share information with you about our programs. But again, we have a mentorship program, we have an online training program, we have courses and startup kits specific for holding companies if that's what you desire to do. But trust me when I say this, you need a holding company. You need a holding company. Whatever it is that you're doing in business, whatever it is that you're selling and servicing people with, you should blanket that and build that around the holding company concept and use that so that the advantages I just shared with you that you can live with. You can see the protection of your legacy and the protection of your assets. You can see the preservation of your legacy and your assets. You can see the production of your revenue and your sales and the people that you're working with. And you will have more purchasing power. So many people think they can just go to a bank and they gonna just, go to a bank and figure it out. It don't work like that. You good? Okay, on YouTube. All right, we got a question on YouTube. Let's go, y'all. Let me see what questions we got. Come on. All right, we have a question. What makes one LLC a holding company for another LLC? Is it some kind of document agreement? What makes one LLC a holding company for another LLC? Yeah, it will be a document. The question is, what makes one LLC a holding company for another LLC? Well, what makes LLC number one a holding company is, number one, you categorize it. When you're filing and forming the paperwork, you can categorize it. So when you get your EIN number with the IRS and when you get your articles of organization to be a legitimate LLC with the Secretary of State, you can categorize that LLC as a holding company. So for example, if you're starting a restaurant, you're going to categorize the LLC as a restaurant. If you're starting a school, you're going to categorize the LLC as a school. If you're starting a construction business, you're going to categorize it as a construction business. If you're starting a paint business or a landscape business, there are categories within that filing process that you're able to specifically state this is what the purpose of the LLC is. But when you are starting a holding company and you're going through the filing and formation process, you are able to specify that this LLC is going to be used to hold ownership interests of other businesses, hold other assets. That's what the purpose of this LLC is. So that's going to be one way that you show this LLC is a holding company. The next way is you're going to draft an operating agreement. Every LLC needs an operating agreement. Your operating agreement, it spells out what all the details of your business are. So it's like the constitution of your business. So for example, when you start an incorporation, you're going to have bylaws. If you start a nonprofit, you're going to have bylaws. You're going to have a constitution. You're going to have certain policies and procedures drafted into your bylaws. But when you have an LLC, you don't necessarily have bylaws, you have an operating agreement. And so that operating agreement is spelling out what you and any partners in that business agree to when it comes to the operation. So in your operating agreement, you're gonna spell out that this LLC that you filed and formed and got an EIN number for is operating for the purpose of holding ownership interests of businesses and owning other assets for investments, so forth and so on. So that's what makes it that. Now, beyond the legal side of it and beyond the paperwork side of it, there's a operational side of it. There's a practical side of it. This is where your education comes in at. So a lot of times when people ask me, like, what do you mean the concept of the holding company concept? What I mean is you have to learn the concept behind running it. You have to understand, what am I supposed to do with it? How do I work it? Well, these are things that you got to be educated on, because like I just showed you, if you have a business and your business has products, okay? You have a business and your business has services. Most of the time, that's all people see when they have a business. They don't understand that they have certain copyrights, right? They don't see that. They don't see that they have certain IP or intellectual property. They may have trademarks. Some businesses even have patents. And it's not that they have these things, they just don't know what they are doing in their business has the potential to be patent. It has the potential to be trademarked. It has the potential to have intellectual property because you created it with your intellect. There are certain copyrights with the words and the things that you draft for your company, your services and your products. It could be equipment. It could be equipment, right? Your business may also have a piece of real estate. So when you start looking at all these things, when you start looking at all these things that a typical business has, most people start a business and they put all of this in one business. That's the wrong thing to do. And they do this because they don't understand what? The concept of a holding company. So when you start learning these concepts, you educate yourself about these concepts, you're not going to do this. What you're going to do is you're going to create one entity here, and then you're going to say, you know what? I'm going to create another entity for my equipment. Then you say, I'm going to create another entity for my real estate. Then I'm going to create another entity for my products and services. And I'm going to either create another entity for my patents, my trademarks, my copyrights. It could actually be a publishing company. I don't know. Or you could just give the ownership. You could give the ownership to the holding company. So you see how that concept needs to be understood, because you could be running a business and you don't even see what people who understand this concept see. So that's what makes one LLC become a holding company to another LLC. It's the legal side of it, the filing and the formation, but it's also it's also the operational side, the practical side. We have another question. Can your subsidiary companies share the same business address as your holding company? Yeah, definitely. Every company that I own, I have a holding company, I've got subsidiaries, I've got divisions. They all share the same physical address, whether it's your home office or whether it's your commercial office. So yes, they can both share the same office. So again, if you are an entrepreneur, a business owner, independent contractor, network marketer, or if you're looking to become one and you just don't know how to properly start it, how to properly structure it so you can scale it, I have a mentorship program that provides the coaching for you, the consulting for you. It's called our Millionaire Mentorship program. It's a 1-year program. But if 1 year is too long for you and you just feel like, you know what, I don't want to take the time to spend a year working with a professional consultant, then we do have a holding company course and startup kit. So if you are a do-it-yourselfer, meaning that you can learn and study and train and you can figure it out yourself, I would recommend that if that's what you want, you can take advantage of the courses. We have online courses to teach you about the holding company. So I'm going to go to my website and I'm going to show you very quickly, if you can see here. I'm here at RamonPreston.com. If you go to my main website, RamonPreston.com, you will see our link for our coaching, for our consulting, for our training. And these services that we provide are all business and financial based. I'm a business consultant. So what I'm talking to you about when it comes to the legal side of it, at least as far as filing and forming your paperwork, when it comes to the technical side of your systems and processes and building it out and understanding the concept, I do this for clients every day. So I know it works. I've done it for myself. This is what we've done to create the company we've created. So if you go to RamonPreston.com and you click training, it will prompt you to our platform where all of our training programs are. We have a Millionaire Blueprint. This is a Millionaire Blueprint. It's literally a blueprint to show you how to become a millionaire. It's going to be difficult for you to do this and sustain it and to become wealthy if you do not understand these concepts for business. Let's see here. If you don't understand these concepts for business, so I'm trying to, for some reason it's not pulling up the way I want it to pull up. So let me go back. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, we got another question. Let's see here. Another question. Being that the holding company is designed to protect the operating company, what protects the holding company? Good question. Good question. You should have some type of umbrella insurance. That's what's going to protect your holding company. You should have an insurance policy on your holding company to protect whatever the assets are. And let's say, for example, if your holding company owns trademarks, if your holding company owns stocks in companies, if your holding company owns ownership interests of other businesses, if your holding company owns equipment or real estate through other entities, then you have to look at the overall value of those other companies, even though they're protected, and you just have to make sure you umbrella your holding company with insurance policies that cover or at least mitigate some of the risks that it has. But again, a lot of times your holding company is not out there selling a product or a service. Your holding company is not necessarily providing some type of goods or services to the marketplace, so it's not volatile. It's not like risky. But sometimes it is. And when you are doing certain business through your holding company, because you can do certain business through it, it's not like you can't use it, it's your business. You just want to blanket that and umbrella that with the proper insurance. So that's the way to mitigate those risks and to make sure that your holding company is good. So if you go to our website, you'll see that we have a program. It's hundreds of training courses in this program. These are all training courses here. All of these are courses. I mean, it's hundreds and hundreds of videos on sales, marketing, goal setting, real estate investing, financial literacy, entrepreneurship, for W-2 employees, 1099s. And here's a course that's called Holding Company LLC Startup Kit. So when you click on how to start and structure a holding company, this is the course. So you're able to see all the lessons that you're going to learn. The power of a holding company, first steps in creating your holding company concepts, understanding a holding company, summarizing the holding company concept, leveraging a holding company, managing the day-to-day operations of a holding company, things to know about holding companies. These are all questions. How many businesses can I have under one? What is the concept? What is the best state to register in? How do you license intellectual property? We've got questions after questions that we answer. Who's the responsible party for a subsidiary's EIN? Things to know about holding companies. What are the tax advantages? What is the difference between an investment company and a holding company? What is an asset transfer agreement? What is a lease agreement? The 4 P's of a holding company. We have an entire workshop where we took about 4 hours and we did a deep dive into the nuts and bolts of making sure you understand the filing process. Who is the signature or who is the signee that needs to sign it? Who is the registered agent? What is the wording that you use when you're obtaining your EIN? What is the wording that you need to put in your provisions for your operating agreement? We go through all that. And then we have a do-it-yourself business startup kit. So you see the startup kit. We walk you through the LLC procedures, articles, and the tutorials. We show you how to file it. We have the business articles of organization. We have the SS4 form. We have a tutorial to walk you through each step. We have an operating agreement tutorial. We give you an operating agreement for a single member LLC and for a multi-member LLC. We give you business links to your DUNS number, to your seal kit if you want a corporate kit for your business. We give you a link to any legal form in the United States. And this is a very, very comprehensive course. That's just one of the 30 plus courses that are in this Millionaire Blueprint. And again, if you just don't know enough and you feel like you need a professional coach and a consultant for business to work with you and to walk you through each phase of the process, we have our Millionaire Mentorship program, a 1-year program. It comes with one-on-one coaching sessions, weekly coaching calls. You get 1 year free access to this Millionaire Blueprint program. We give you access to 4 quarterly workshops, masterminds, where we take a whole day and we deep dive into sales, marketing, financial systems, operational systems. We show you how to build a real infrastructure from your holding company to your divisions, your operating entities, your systems, your processes, your products, your services, your prices, your sales. We want you to become Blueprint millionaires. So all you have to do is text the word millionaire. That's all you have to do is text the word millionaire. Text millionaire to 404-478-7213. Again, you are just one text message away from starting and structuring and potentially scaling your organizational enterprise. Text millionaire to 404-478-7213. Like, you can watch as many videos as you want to on my YouTube page that I talk about holding companies, the concept of it, the operations, the day-to-day managing of it. And guess what? You're still gonna need to get access to other training, other support, other accountability, coaching and consulting measures to really help you build it out, because it may not happen overnight. It may take you a couple months to get everything perfectly together so that you can really take your ideas and start scaling them and really creating an opportunity of success for you and for your family. So we're here for you. We're open to answer any questions that you may have. Just feel free to call us, but more importantly, text the word millionaire so that we can help assist you. We have another question. What is the difference between a holding company set up as a LLC or a trust? Well, even if you have a trust, which by the way, we're going to be introducing a new course within the next few weeks. We're introducing a new course in our Millionaire Blueprint, and it's going to be on estate planning. So we're going to be talking about trusts, wills, powers of attorneys, and other forms that are necessary for you to continue to build your legacy. But the question is, what is the difference between a holding company set up as a LLC or a trust? So here's the difference. A holding company is a LLC, right? So it's a business. You are owning businesses under it, which would primarily be the best way for you if you are anticipating to start a trust. A trust is not necessarily a LLC. A trust is a paper that you're drafting. It's private, so it's not public knowledge. You're not necessarily filing it with the Secretary of State. You're just creating a trust by getting the right legal paperwork drafted, and you're transferring the ownership of your LLC, or the ownership of your holding company, or the ownership of your bank accounts, or the ownership of your cars and your houses. You're going to transfer the ownership to your trust. So the difference is tremendous. Like, your trust is a document, a legal document, a form that you use to give rights to for whatever assets that you have. Your LLC is a business entity. It's what you're using to generate revenue and to create business opportunities. But they work hand in hand if you do it right. So for example, if you have your trust, let's say if you have your trust over here, right? So your trust is, I'm not going to say one document because it could be 50 pages. So we're just saying one document for the purpose of explaining it. So let's say if you have a trust, it's one document, right? So we got the Ramon Preston Trust. Okay? That's the Ramon Preston Trust. That's different from Ramon, see here, Ramon Preston Enterprises LLC. All right, so this is like a real example. So this is a business entity. This is a holding company. This is a legal document, a trust that is created to preserve the legacy of Ramon Preston by holding assets and owning certain assets that Ramon Preston decides to put into this trust, okay? So this legal entity here owns other businesses, right? So everything that Ramon Preston owns flows up to his holding company. He wants all his assets to operate in this ecosystem. So Ramon Preston is the owner of the LLC, right? So what Ramon Preston does is Ramon Preston creates a trust with this document. He spells out everything that he wants this trust to do, who are the beneficiaries of this trust, how this trust operates, blah, 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 blah. This entity here is filed with the Secretary of State. You can Google Ramon Preston Enterprises LLC. You could pull it up. You're not going to find this because this is private. This is just a decision Ramon Preston made to create a document called the trust that is used for the purpose of Ramon deciding who gets what based on what he has. No one controls the narrative of that but Ramon Preston. So what Ramon Preston does is Ramon Preston says, well, in order for this trust to be a trust, this is a whole new conversation, y'all, we're having, but I'm trying to answer a question since you asked it. Ramon Preston has to fund this trust. That's what makes it a trust fund. So Ramon Preston says, you know what? I'm no longer going to be the owner of Ramon Preston Enterprises. I'm going to make the trust the owner, and I'll just own the trust. So the trust owns this and all that. That's one of the differences. and one of the advantages. So again, you need to be texting Millionaire to 404-478-7213 so me and my team can help you properly start, properly structure, and scale your business, your income streams, your wealth building dreams. All right? Thank you all for joining the Ramon Preston Show today. If you got any value, please do me a favor. Subscribe to my YouTube page. I need your subscriptions. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. Follow me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, all at Ramon Preston. Please follow me, please subscribe, and share some feedback in the comments so that our community, we're building a community. We're building a tribe. We want our people to see that, hey, what Ramon Preston is sharing with us is valuable information. He's helping his community. He wants his people to be successful. He wants to help create millionaires. I know what it's going to do for you and your family when you're able to properly start, structure, and scale your businesses, your income streams, and wealth building dreams. It's going to change your life, and it's going to change the lives of everybody that comes behind you. So appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining the show today. I certainly look forward to speaking with any of you who want to partner with us so that we can do business together to help you get to your next level. Have an amazing day. I'll see you tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on the Ramon Preston Show.